Yo, what is good, Jets Nation? Welcome back to Jets Media. This is Richie, and in this video, I'm going to give you guys the Jets training camp report. Tomorrow, the Atlanta Falcons will be coming to town to have a back-to-back joint practices before the preseason game on Monday night. But today was the last practice, just the Jets versus the Jets, and we got some interesting things to talk about today. Some positive injury news. DJ Reed returned to action on 11 versus 11. He's been dealing with the hamstring problem, so it's good to see DJ Reed, our starting cornerback, back out there for the New York Jets. Also, Dwayne Brown, he changed his jersey number already. He was 68, now he's 71. That was Nate Herbig's number, and now Nate Herbig goes to 68. Just a little jersey update for anybody that's, those jersey number watchers out there. I know there's a lot of you guys that care about that. Joe Flacco had an interesting camp today. Yesterday, 2 days ago, the last time the Jets had practice, Joe Flacco lit it up. I mean, he just was looking on fire. But in today's practice, Joe Flacco, he found Conklin in the end zone, but then he gets picked off by someone who we'll talk about later on. Some under the radar type of guys that are trying to make the roster are making some really good plays today in training camp. So I'm really excited to break down what happened today at One Jets Drive for the New York Jets. Before we hop into the video, I just want to mention, if you guys are new to Jets Media, make sure you hit that subscribe button. We got a lot of Jets content coming your way leading up until the season. And of course, if you guys enjoy the video, please do not forget to thumbs it up. And also comment down below your thoughts of today's training camp and anything that you're taking away from the most when it comes to the New York Jets heading into week number 2 of the preseason. With that being said, let's dive right into the video. So first and foremost, let's talk about Joe Flacco finding Tyler Conklin in the end zone for a red zone touchdown. This feels like it's a daily occurrence. Every time I feel like I've been making a video on Jets training camp, we're talking about this man, Tyler Conklin. For those of you guys that are in fantasy football, draft this man. Tyler Conklin is going all the way at the end of fantasy drafts, sometimes going undrafted. He is a perfect player to get in your fantasy drafts because of the value. I really feel like he's going to be a PPR machine this season, especially when it comes to, when Zach Wilson goes out there, when he gets healthy, because Zach Wilson relies on tight ends a lot. And I feel like now that we finally have a guy in Tyler Conklin, his name's being called all over the place. And we saw in week 1 of the preseason, Tyler Conklin, I think, had 2 or 3 catches. One of them was for a great first down. And I just feel like every single practice, Tyler Conklin continues to make some plays, and I love that Joe Flacco is finding him in the red zone for a touchdown. So nothing but positive signs about the Jets tight end in Tyler Conklin. Talking about another quarterback, Mike White. He had his best practice of camp so far. He was on fire today. Really great timing routes, really good throws, accurate, finding guys that are open. This is a good sign because Mike White, last year, who forgot that? Against the Cincinnati Bengals, 3 touchdowns, 400 yards. We're all thinking he's a savior. Mike effing White, everything's going crazy. He gets injured against the Indianapolis Colts on primetime, so he doesn't able to finish the season. And now he's quarterback number 3, but now he's getting bumped up to quarterback number 2 because of the injury to Zach Wilson. So it's good to see Mike White having a really good practice, because in the preseason against the Eagles, he didn't really do anything to really wow anybody. He didn't throw anything crazy. He didn't do anything bad. It was kind of just an average performance from Mike White. Streveler honestly outperformed him at the end of the game. But I really feel like Jets fans should be content with the quarterback room that we have behind Zach Wilson, because now that we know where Zach Wilson stands on his injury, he's going to be missing probably 1 or 2 weeks to begin the season. I have a lot of confidence in Joe Flacco, and unfortunately, if Joe Flacco gets banged up, I got confidence in Mike White. I love what I saw from Mike White last year when his name was called, and I feel like he's a perfect quarterback to just, plug him in and understand where the ball needs to go, get the ball in the playmaker's hands, not try to do too much, not trying to play hero ball. And I'm really excited to see what Mike White can do for the rest of training camp, especially in preseason, in the joint practice starting tomorrow, and preseason week number 2 against the Atlanta Falcons on Monday night. Getting into the defensive side of the ball, started off a little rough. Sauce Gardner and DJ Reed both had back-to-back pass interference calls against them in the red zone, but then they bounced back and had a phenomenal rest of the camp. Felt like the defense won the day today. Jordan Whitehead picked off Joe Flacco, which is really cool to see that Jordan Whitehead's getting the ball out of the air and getting those interceptions. Obviously, we don't want to see our quarterback throwing interceptions, but Joe Flacco does not throw a lot of picks. So I feel like this was a really good read by Jordan Whitehead. Flacco tried to squeeze it in tight coverage, and Jordan Whitehead comes away with the interception. Also, Isaiah Dunn had a great pass deflection at the end of practice, and he definitely had his best practice of camp, according to Eric Allen, who was at practice today. Isaiah Dunn is a very interesting player who's trying to make the roster. He is a backup cornerback. He's not going to be a starter. He's going to be a depth piece. I really feel like he's going to make the roster because he just provides great depth. You know, obviously we have Sauce Gardner, DJ Reed, Bryce Hall, and Brennan Eccles ahead of him on the depth chart, but I feel like he'd be right there in CB number 5 behind them. Probably going to be the last cornerback to make the roster, if I had to guess, besides Justin Hardy, because obviously he's going to be the special teams ace, so he's going to be making the roster regardless. And obviously I didn't include Michael Carter II and Javelin Guidry. Those two guys are going to be the nickel cornerbacks for the New York Jets. But it is cool to see that Isaiah Dunn had a really great practice today because he was getting a little beat up a lot in preseason week number 1. So I'm excited to see what he can do in preseason week number 2, week number 3, because he's a very interesting guy to keep an eye on to see if he's going to make the roster. Another guy who's trying to make the roster, who's continuously making plays, especially in week number 1 against the Eagles, that's Lawrence Cager, the wide receiver turned tight end. He made a bunch of different plays today at training camp. It's great to see. It's obvious that the New York Jets fans base has been behind Lawrence Cager ever since he became an undrafted free agent for the Jets as a wide receiver. And even this season, we're all rooting for him. We all want him to make the roster. The Jets tight end room is really deep. Obviously, we got 2 brand new tight ends in free agency in Tyler Conklin and CJ Uzomah. We draft a guy in Jeremy Ruckert. And then we have a lot of guys that are going to be fighting for that 4th spot. Kenny Yeboah, undrafted free agent last year. Lawrence Cager, undrafted free agent a couple seasons ago, transitioning to a wide receiver to tight end. Trevon Wesco is still trying to make the roster. He's that, you know, that blocking tight end. So it's really going to be interesting to see who the Jets, cut at the tight end room. I would love Lawrence Cager to be that number 4 tight end, even though I still love Kenny Yeboah. But I do love Lawrence Cager, and I feel like he's a guy that if the Jets want to go, the receiving route in terms of, obviously we love Jeremy Ruckert in terms of what he brings to the table as an all-around tight end. He can block, he can catch, he can run routes. Tyler Conklin, CJ Uzomah, all around. Lawrence Cager, he's not going to be the greatest blocking tight end, but I feel like since we have 3 solid blocking tight ends in Uzomah, Conklin, and Ruckert, we can sacrifice our 4th tight end to be more of a receiving threat that can, split wide, line up out there, be reliable receiving guy. He has a lot of quickness out there and can be that versatile piece on that tight end room to be tight end number 4. We will see. I know that you guys really want Lawrence Cager to make the 53-man roster, and so do I, and I really feel like he's proven every day. He proved it week 1 against the Eagles in preseason, and he has 2 more games in the preseason to prove his worth to the New York Jets coaching staff in the front office that he should be on the 53-man roster. I'm really excited to see what happens in the joint practice tomorrow. I'll actually be in attendance. I'm going with Ryan from Jets Talk 24/7. We're going to be sitting in the VIP section. So if anybody's going to be there at training camp tomorrow, let me know. I'd love to meet you guys. It's going to be really exciting to see what the Jets do against the Falcons. Obviously, it's unfortunate that Zach Wilson's not going to be there because I was excited to see what he can do against a different opponent. But we're still going to be able to see a lot of fun matchups. We're going to be able to see Sauce Gardner go up against a different wide receiver for the first time. We're going to see the Jets receivers going up against, AJ Terrell and all those really good corners that they have over in Atlanta. So it's going to be really fun to see what the Jets do against the Atlanta Falcons for the 2 days that they have joint practices. And of course, on Monday Night Football, which kicks off week number 2 of the preseason. So that does it for my thoughts of today's training camp and a little preview of what to expect in tomorrow's joint practice against the Atlanta Falcons. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. Love to hear what you guys have to say. Always appreciate all the comments, and of course appreciate everybody that hits the thumbs up button. It means a lot to the channel. Don't forget to subscribe if you're new, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Let's go Jets. Peace out.